So good evening to one and all. It's nice to meet you all guys. Being in a COVID era, we are meeting online. So I'll be touching the second chapter of economics. The economics that you have already done in your 9th standard is totally different what you're going to do in 10th standard. So you might have heard what is Indian economy and what is Indian economics. So 10th level, we are going to go a little bit deeper than what you have learned in your 9th standard. So the topic that I'm going to touch today, it is the second topic as per your CBSE syllabus. It is called the sectors of the Indian economy. So when I use the word sectors, we generally understand 3 sectors, which is true with Indian economy as well as with any other economy. India being a newly independent country since 1947, we generally understand our economics further in detail as compared to any other Western or any European economies are. So to begin with, we start with the first sector. We call that sector as primary sector. And the second sector, we call that as the secondary sector. And the third one, the most important, where the youth people are very much attracted towards there for employment, it is the tertiary sector. So as written on the board, the primary sector, secondary sector, and the tertiary sector. The word suggests the primary sector. It includes 5 main activities. Let me put it on the board, what all the activities we include under primary sector. So first thing, the most important, we call it as agricultural sector. Second, it is fishing. Next, it is mining and quarrying. And along with fishing, mining, we can use also dairy farming. Actually, it's a part of agriculture, but we just separate it. So what is this primary sector all about? India being an agriculturally little bit more into it, where right from Vedic civilization or Aryan civilization, we are into agriculture. So although we are in 2021, but even today, agriculture, that is a part of the primary sector, plays a very important role. Important role with respect to 1, it is employment generation. Second, to the GDP contribution. What is this GDP? We simply say it is national income, or I can use the word gross domestic product. What it is? The annual income of the country for 1 financial year. Again, I'm saying annual income of the country for 1 financial year. Although we have other 2 sectors, that is secondary and tertiary, for which I'll be explaining, the contribution of the primary sector, that also within the primary sector, agriculture is the max. So based on the statistics, we perfectly say India is an agrarian economy. What do I say? It is an agrarian economy. Why it is an agrarian? Because out of the primary sector, agriculture gives maximum employment as well as the national income contribution. So you might ask me, why not the other? But then agriculture plays a dominant role. That's why I'm perfectly calling our economy as a which economy? Agrarian economy. So along with agriculture, what do? We do fishing. As far as India is concerned, fishing we do, but it is the climate which does not allow the fish to be kept fresh. So generally we have fishing. And then we have mining. Mining, everybody knows what it is: coal, stones, and some other things. And then we also have quarrying. It is normally for the construction sector, breaking up of bigger boulder rocks into smaller. And now dairy farming. If I say dairy farming today, I can give you the perfect example of our biggest cooperatives which is running in India, Amul. What is Amul? We say Anand Milk Union Limited. It was a very small organization which was started in Gujarat, Kheda district. But today it is not only in India, but it's all over the Asia. It is one of the biggest. So this is how I can summarize the sector, which I call it as a primary sector. So when about primary sector, India being a labor abundant economy. What is labor? Too much of unskilled laborers are there. So it is agriculture will play a dominant role in absorbing or providing what? Maximum employment. Since the employment is high, automatically the contribution to the national income will also be high. But the problem with the Indian agriculture, it is the modernization. It is the something called as mechanization. We have the states of Punjab, Haryana, and UP. Rest of the states are not very much ahead, in the modernization. What is modernization? Use of machines, use of capital inputs. So in fact, we say Punjab and Haryana farmers are the richest farmers in India. Either that they produce or the wheat they produce are generally of export-oriented items. You might have heard about basmati rice. The best quality basmati rice comes from these two states. So that is what we summarize. So primary sector is nothing but including all these 5 activities, out of which is most dominant, it is agriculture. So once I complete with primary sector, let me quickly shift the attention towards the secondary sector. So how do I explain secondary sector? It includes all manufacturing industries and factories. Now, what is this manufacturing suddenly away from agriculture? I say I and F, industries and factories. Although I said India started with agriculture, but India also started industrialization with second 5-year plan. What is this 5-year plan? So India undertakes planning for every 5 years. This model we have copied from Russia. So the first 5-year plan introduced in India was in the year 1951 to 56. Again, I'm saying the first 5-year plan was from 1951 to 56. Since it was the first 5-year plan, India named it as agricultural plan. But then the first government under the leadership of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, he analyzed not only agriculture has to develop, but in order to modernize, we need to develop even the industries. The second 5-year plan, that was from 1956 to 61, was an industrial plan. Why am I using the word industrial plan? Because I have to discuss the sector which we call it as which sector? The secondary sector, which simply means all manufacturing industries and factories. So when I use the word secondary sector and I use the word industrial development, the first iron and steel industry was started mainly by the public sector involvement. So we have a separate chapter in economics where I teach you manufacturing industries. There I will be going into the details of this, but then for the time being, understand secondary sector primarily includes what? The manufacturing industries and factories. You know, what is the link between the factories, industries to that of our primary? So if I say modernization of agriculture, it is only because of the tractors, harvesters, fertilizers, pesticides, etc., etc. So these are supplied nothing better than the industrial sector. So in fact, we say both primary and secondary sectors goes hand in hand. What is the meaning of the word hand in hand? The more is the development of the primary sector, that is mainly agriculture, the better is for the which sector? Secondary sector. That is nothing but the more is the industries producing tractors, threshers, fertilizers, the more will be better for our agriculture. So you might have heard about something called as Green Revolution. What is Green Revolution? It was implemented in the state of Punjab and Haryana, all thanks to the industries which supplied all the needed inputs required in the Green Revolution. So what is this industrial sector is doing? It is nothing but it is providing the basic inputs not only to the primary sector, but also to the tertiary sector, which I'll be very quickly touching. So I can say it is the secondary sector which is acting as a link between which two sectors, primary and secondary. What is the secondary sector's importance? I can tell you all the developed countries of the West, they've achieved a high level of development only because of the secondary. You might have heard about Industrial Revolution. The first revolution was in London or England. It was in the year 1770. But look at India. When did we go for industrialization? It was in the year 1956 and 61. So within 5 years, India started so many industries, Indian government. So we put this process nothing but a rapid industrialization process. What is this word rapid? Within that 5 years, India not only started industries which were related to agriculture, but also to mineral based. What is mineral based? Like we say iron and steel, like we say sugar, cotton mills, and so many other industries. So today, India is no doubt is one of the fastest developing economy in Asia, all thanks to goes to the secondary sector, or we say manufacturing industries and factories. Now, when you understand these two sectors, this sector becomes more important or more easier to understand, since majority of you guys, when you finish your studies, either get into medicines or get into engineering or get into teaching like we, definitely you are placing yourself where? Tertiary sector. Here we do not produce any goods, neither commodities, but here we are producing nothing but services. What is this word services? You might have heard about goods are tangible and services are intangible. Intangible, which you cannot measure, which you cannot see, but definitely this is the most important sector. So I can include such sectors like banking. I can include along with that insurance. Then I say transport and communication, and then services of doctors, lawyers, and engineers. And finally, we can include even the teachers. So how it is important to a country like India? Now you guys are definitely eyeing to place yourself neither in primary sector nor in secondary sector. But which is the only lucrative sector? It is the tertiary. You get into science, you get into medicines, you get into any other engineering, you find a very productive job here. During our school and college days, we used to aim 5-figure salary. That's a very old item now. Now you guys are going for 6-figure salary. So the 6-figure salary, you won't get it either in primary nor in secondary, but definitely you will get it in which sector? It is the tertiary. So if I say the word lifeline in economics or geography, lifelines are generally, we say, transport and communication. Why it is lifeline? Since we are a part of Mumbai and Navi Mumbai, without the local trains, the movement is totally not so easy to see around the city. So I can say out of the 3 sectors, tertiary sector is the life of the entire economy. How do I use the word life? Because of the tertiary sector, a country like India can attain the stage of developed country. I'm saying developed country much faster rate. What is that word faster rate? Now for the example, Government of India is targeted by 2040. Sorry, I'm saying 2040, India must attain the developed stage, like that of the Western countries or like any European countries. Do you think the agriculture has or the primary sector has the potential? Definitely, but the stage will be very, very late. Do you think only industry can take up? Again, it can do, but not like the tertiary. Tertiary sector alone can push up the economy to the high level of development at a shorter span of time. Like everyone dreams of a salary which you and me has to be very proud of it. So definitely you find yourself in tertiary sector. So to conclude the points or to conclude the headings. So the sectors of Indian economy primarily includes 3 sectors. As I said, primary, which includes all the activities. Which activities? Agriculture, fishing, mining, then I say coding and dairy farming. And then I've explained the importance of agriculture within the primary sector. Then we have moved away from primary, we have gone into secondary sector. Then I've explained nothing but what is the meaning of the word secondary sector. It includes all manufacturing industries and factories. Then I traced you back to the agricultural plan. That is our first 5-year plan. Second 5-year plan, which I told you, which industrialization? Rapid industrialization. Then we moved away from the secondary sector. We got into the tertiary sector. Tertiary, also known as which sector? Service sector, because it provides only services like that of the banking, transport, communication, and doctors, lawyers, and other services. So all the 3 sectors contribute towards the development of economy. Every sector has its own role to play. But in order to identify whether that country is a developed country or a developing country, how this is going to help you. If I say it is a country like America, which is highly developed, the contribution to the national income will be more from which sector? It will be tertiary sector and less from primary and secondary. If I talk about our own country, India, we say it is not a developed country, but it is a developing country. The contribution will be high from which sector? It is more from primary and industry. And now the tertiary sector is getting a little bit boost up from the government plans. What are boost up means now the government of India is giving a lot of support to the entire tertiary sector. Maybe like transport and communication, the banking services, even the doctors, teachers, and lawyers. The number, what was it in 10 or 15 years before, and today it is highly increased. So all in all, you have to remember the three sectors. Again, I'm repeat: primary, secondary, and tertiary.